Okay, Mr. Mayor, we should be live.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the March 2nd Committee of the Whole of the Revere School Committee. We will begin today's meeting with the roll call of the members.
Mrs. Bronston Rizzo.
Here.
Mr. D'Ambrosio.
Here.
Mr. Ferranti. Ms. Gravellisi.
Here.
Mr. Sinella.
Here.
Ms. Ty.
Here.
Mayor Arrigo.
Here. We have one item on the agenda this afternoon, and that is the discussion and motion to approve the memorandum of understanding with the RTA. Any members?
Mr. Chairman,
Ms. Ty.
for purposes of discussion, I move that we accept the memorandum of agreement as presented to us by the superintendent for adoption by the Revere Public Schools and the Revere School Committee.
Second.
Okay. Motion was made, seconded by Mrs. Rizzo. Do we want to have discussion?
Yes.
I don't. Okay. Ms. Ty, you want to start the discussion or?
No, I thought the superintendent would make her
Okay.
presentation first.
Okay. Dr. Kelly.
Sure thing. So I am very pleased that we were able to work out a preliminary agreement with the Revere Teachers Association. As parents were notified by an email letter yesterday, we are continuing with the planned opening on Monday for our life skills students and our autism spectrum disorder students. They will be followed on the following Monday, the 15th, by our small learning groups. After that, on the 22nd, we will have the students who are electing to come back to school in a hybrid model, cohort A, in grades early childhood, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, sixth grade, ninth grade, 10th grade, and all of our high school EL students, grades 9, 10, 11, and 12, will begin on Monday, the 22nd. The rest of our students, beginning with a week B cohort, that's the week B cohort of all the grades I just mentioned. And in addition, the week B cohort of grades 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 11, and 12 will begin on March 29th. And this schedule is spelled out in the letter that was sent home yesterday. And if it's not already on the website, it will be in short order. But I think that is the key and most important piece of this is the return dates. There are some pieces in the MOA that apply specifically to teachers around where they're working from the beginning of this week, and also that there is no school on Thursday and Friday of this week. That's remote or in any other style, no school for students while teachers engage in professional development in order to return and prepare their classrooms. And the other piece of, I think, really pertinent information that the school committee will want to look at is the attachment of schedules. There is one for the elementary level, one for the middle level, and one for the high school level. And I want to let committee members know that these are generalized schedules. There are some students with unique specific schedules that will differ from these, but this is what the vast majority of our students will be engaged in. There will also be some differences in the scheduling as we move through our phase in those first couple of weeks. So for example, when our small learning group students return, they are scheduled for their in-person week using our hybrid schedule, while their classmates would still be in the full remote schedule. That's going to take a little bit of tweaking. And because that is such a small number of students, individual principals will be in touch with those parents in order to identify any specifics that are related to their particular child's schedule. All students will be receiving a customized, individualized to them schedule that will describe when they are in-person learning, when they are at home, and if they're in a full remote, when they're required to log in synchronously, or when they're in the hybrid remote, when they're required to log in synchronously. I think that that might cover all of it. These schedules do meet the requirements of DESE of a 35-hour minimum per 2-week period for students in hybrid learning. And I don't know if I hear some audio in the background, if anybody wants to mute.
You do.
Not speaking, yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. Do any members have any questions or comments?
Sorry,
Dr. Kelly.
one more thing I should have mentioned. We are continuing to work with the Teachers Association on impact bargaining around other aspects, and we have negotiations scheduled for tomorrow evening and Wednesday afternoon around some other specific aspects that we need to talk about.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kelly. I saw Mrs. Rizzo and then Ms. Ty.
Oh.
Mrs. Rizzo, go ahead.
So I had a question, and maybe Danielle can help me with this because I pointed these parents to her. Sorry, Danielle. But a few parents had asked about the survey that was done, the last survey. They had put they were going to keep their students remote because they didn't feel comfortable still, and they wanted to keep the structure that they had. But now that we've gone this way, the children are pushing to go back to school because they really want to be with their students. So have we gotten many of those phone calls asking for those changes? And so far, have they been able to be accommodated?
Yeah, and I can address that. So we have received a handful of calls from parents requesting changes into the hybrid model. And right now we are granting them. Our challenge is going to become, once we implement, which is Monday, it's really going to be hard for us to be reshuffling the deck when we've just spent so much time trying to accommodate every different parent's request. So, you know, we want to be a little bit cautious about that. We built our schedules, which is very complicated, teacher scheduling and everything else based on the feedback folks gave us. And we did send a message home when we gave our last reminder to please get the survey done, that we were going to have to proceed with the responses that people gave us in August if they didn't submit a new response. So we will do the best we can to accommodate any new requests that come in henceforth, but we really do need to be cognizant of, it's not as simple as I want my kid now in that classroom. We have to look at the number of students that are already engaged in the in-person learning, and we have to look at how we have reassigned teachers in order to make all of the schedules work the way that they're working right now. So it is tricky, but I don't even want to say, like, if somebody emails us tomorrow that we can accommodate it. We are in the process of printing schedules. Teachers are moving forward with the professional development. Like, at some point we just need to move forward. And I will say that there could be opportunities down the road that we might be able to bring more people on and make more changes, but it just is very complicated in this week as we're trying to finalize arrangements and be ready for a safe return to school on Monday.
Ms. Ty?
Actually, one thing I'll add to that question is if people do have questions about their assignment or want to request a change, they should contact their school principal or their assistant principal, and they can work from that level.
So that's how I'll forward it from now on.
Great, thank you.
Ms. Ty?
I'd just like to, first of all, thank the superintendent. The information that she sent home, the letter that she sent home, was not only articulate, but sensitive, shows our understanding of how children are going to have some difficulties, and the assurance that, and in answer to Mrs. Rizzo's question too, that we will do the very best to meet the needs of anyone who expresses something to us. That's always been so. And it's good to have an assurance that we will do it again. I'd like to say that this is the result of hours and hours of negotiations with the Teachers Association. Unfortunately, Dr. Kelly doesn't get paid by the hour. So when she's working, Dr. Macaba or any of our principals or any of them, they have done yeoman service to our school system. We almost didn't even have the right to ask them to do that, but good people with good intentions step forward and see what has to be done, and they do it. I think we'll know how many hours when we get the lawyer's bill, but I couldn't even fathom an estimate for it. I will say that we negotiated long into the night. Mr. Mayor, you were there hanging in, and we oftentimes, there was one night that we didn't get through until I think it was well after midnight, and another one that was almost midnight, and some where we started in the morning and came back later in the afternoon. And so everybody deserves credit. And I say this for the Teachers Association because I know that they are faced with difficulty too. I've been in that situation. I know that everybody wants them to get everything that they want, and negotiations come out and not everybody's satisfied. But I do think that what we had in common is that, it wasn't for the teachers, it wasn't for the school committee, it was for the kids. And that was the mantra that we talked about all the time. Dr. Kelly said frequently, in answer to a question, this is what's best for kids. And I'm proud that we did it. I'm proud of the school committee. I'm proud of you, Mr. Mayor, proud of the superintendent, the assistant superintendent, Dr. Macaba hanging in there with us. Every once in a while, Dr. Calucci coming in with out of the field to give us some statistics that we needed. And all of the principals who have put in so many hours, who know their kids and know what's best for their kids. It's heartwarming and really rewarding to serve on a committee with so many people who have as their goal, what can we do for the kids? How can we help our families? How can we help our children? How can we help our city navigate this very difficult time? I kind of blabbed on there. I'm sorry. It's just that I feel, I'm sorry, but thanks to everybody. It has been a wonderful experience. Terrible at times, but wonderful in the long run. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Ty.
And I would extend thanks to Carol and also to Mr. Stonella for enduring the long hours and the long discussions and the heated arguments and everything that came with it. It was a lot of work.
It was. But ultimately a great achievement. Thank you, Dr. Kelly.
Any other members? Okay. There is a motion that was seconded, so we'll take a roll call on the motion.
Mrs. Bronston Rizzo,
Yes.
Mr. D'Ambrosio,
Yes.
Ms. Gravellisi,
Yes.
Mr. Sinella,
Yes.
Ms. Ty,
Yes.
Mayor Arrigo.
Yes. Okay, before we close out, I do want to thank everyone. I want to thank Dr. Kelly for her tremendous work on this, her team. Obviously, the school committee members that were involved in negotiations, as well as the teachers and the RTA. This has been obviously a challenging, we're coming up on a year that school had been closed, and to be able to make this kind of progress is great. And I know there's a lot of work still ahead. So just try to prepare everyone for the work as it continues and as we continue to navigate the challenges that we have ahead of us. So, we have a tremendous team here in the city of Revere, and I'm so grateful for all of the work that everyone's done. So thank you. And with that, we will adjourn until our next regular school committee meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.